And we are live. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Hear Me Out, our Friday morning talk show. Hopefully you guys are doing well wherever you may be in the world, whether you are working or chilling and hanging out. Hopefully you are enjoying your Friday. And thank you for spending it with us, either live here on the stream or watching it afterwards on YouTube. We have a couple of really awesome guests joining us today. As always, our co-host all the way to the far left. He is the pirate at sea, the captain of his own ship of many. Mr. Mateo, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm here. I need more caffeine, but I'm doing good. I'm blessed.
That is a true fact and statement. You are here.
I am here.
Yeah. And then joining us for the first time on the show, a friend of ours who I'm excited to have on today, No Good Gamer, or No Good for short. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no problem. Right now you're Mr. Mateo since he turned his camera off and it moved our names around, but no, you're fine. But
That works for me.
Dude, I was getting pumped to have you on the show. I was telling you a bit, off camera when we were talking here a few minutes ago, but just even like, I've hung out in your streams a couple times when I've seen you been able to catch you live. And then just even like rereading some things on you and catching up, and I was like, man, this guy is like the perfect mix of all the things I get. We say sweaty here for nerdy, but all the things I get sweaty about, and then also all the things that Mr. Mateo gets sweaty about. And oh, there's an echo here. Let me fix that real quick. Boom. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm really excited to have you on because I feel like you are the linchpin between everything that the two of us enjoy here. So I'm excited to have you on, and it should be a pretty good time.
You're.
Well, no, I'm excited to be here. I appreciate it. And I love the term sweaty because I say spicy.
Oh, there you
go. So sweaty just sounds, I don't know, it sounds better in a way.
Yeah, it's just like, like there's, I've met people and I've had other friends before that are just like, when you say something or you get something wrong and they're just like, but, and they're just like, they can't even contain their excitement for something, or I've been that way with some things. So it should be a really good show, guys. Today, Mr. Mateo has written all the show notes, so if you guys love him, let him know. Show him some love at Mr. Mateo on Twitter. Feel free to mention him here in the comment section as well, or if you hate them all, just as well, you know where to find him.
No, if you hate them, it's Ken's fault.
Yeah, if you hate them, it's Kennethan, who I believe is still on the road. I think he's coming home the next day or two. He's in chat. So, Ken, we miss you. We love you. But, guys, we're going to get started with the show here today. But as we like to say here, that the show, although these are things we can get sweaty and enjoy, they're not a means to an end, but rather that we don't worship the creation, but we actually point these things and enjoy these things to help point us back to Creator. So we're going to start out in prayer this morning. Mr. Mateo, do you mind praying for us and getting us started on the show today?
Yes. I'm sorry if I do get distracted today because there's a lot of noise going on in the other room. But Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for bringing us here and giving us this awesome opportunity just to have community and hang out and talk about nerdy things that we love. But Lord, I pray that all this can glorify you, that would be edifying, that we can just point people towards you, even if we are talking about a movie. Lord, and Lord, I pray for every single person that's in chat. I pray for Ken to travel safely and not get mad during the show as we talk smack about him. But Lord, again, I just praise you for this awesome platform that we get to have, and that we can be that light in the darkness. And Lord, I pray that we can plant some seeds and bring some more people to you. And I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 All right. Well, let's jump right on into it. Mr. Mateo is going to start us off with trailers. What do we have for today?
Woo! I love it when we actually have some new trailers.
Yeah.
It's nice. And this one has gotten a lot of hype. There's been so much hype building around this. This first trailer is Dune. I have never seen the original Dune, but I know it's like a cult classic and it's got a big cult following from what I've heard. Mm-hmm. And oh my word, I'm interested in this world. And so I'm probably going to have to go back and watch the original, and then I want to get invested in this because it's a star-studded cast. And it looks, it hooked me in. So sorry, like I said, it's you know, I'm a little loopy today, but this looks pretty cool. So Jay, what do you think about this trailer when you saw it?
Yeah, I really liked it. I'm like you. I never saw the original. I think it was 1984. The original one came out. So when I first saw this trailer, I'm like, this seems like it's based off something. Then when I researched it, and I was like, yeah, I knew the title sounded a bit familiar. But the more this trailer went on, the more and more I began to enjoy it. The more and more I was like, man, this guy's in it, and now she's in it, and now he's in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, just overall my excitement for it just continued to build. And so it seems like it could be a really good movie, or it's going to be a movie we look back on in a year and are like, dude, why did so many good actors play in this horrible remake of a movie? I always have my same stance whenever it comes to like a remake or a readaptation of a movie. It's like, why not try it? If we hate it, we always have the original to fall back on. If people really just love and think that the old Dune is perfection. But No Good Gamer, what about you? What do you think of this trailer here? This first one that we had, Dune.
I thought the trailer was actually really cool. I like that. Now, I didn't see the original Dune, so I have no I had no frame, I had no basis when I was going into it. So when I turned it on, I was like, this looks really cool. I like that they didn't give us a ton of information. Trailers do that, they kill it.
Yeah.
And so you're watching the trailer, you basically walk away, you're like, I've seen this movie. So there was enough left to the imagination that I was like, okay, this could be really well done. But I always get a little bit hesitant when a movie or a TV show kind of comes out of nowhere and they have all these stars in their cast.
Yeah, it's almost like they're compensating for something else.
Yeah, you see that happen all the time in animated films.
Yeah.
I think the most recent one was Animal Crackers, and they had like a star-studded cast, and you're like, this is going to be hot garbage.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tread lightly, but I'm going to watch it with an open mind. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think and sci-fis just have this tendency to like be the worst like bottom of the barrel movies when not done correctly or right, like worse than I think even rom-coms. It's just like they could just go totally in a weird direction, but it seems like hopefully they're pulling from good source material, so hopefully it's going to end up being a pretty good movie. I'm with you. I'm hesitantly excited for it to see what comes of it. And it kind of came out of nowhere, like we covered news weekly. And I had no idea that this trailer was coming out or that any of these people were attached to this movie.
I heard rumors. I heard that some people were attached to it. I knew Jason Momoa was in it. Mainly because I do follow him on social medias, and he was Jason Momoa, Aquaman.
Yeah.
Oh, Aquaman. Yeah. Jason Momoa.
Yeah. So I saw like people have been hinting about it. And like I said, like a lot of the OG fans were like really stoked about it. Like, oh look, we're finally getting a new one. And so I heard rumors, but we weren't sure. Like I wasn't sure when it was dropping. But yeah, now it's actually here. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I think No Good, you said it perfectly that it didn't, even though it is pulling from source material. It still didn't show much in the trailer. They're trying to pull us in, which is exactly what a trailer should do. All these other people like, hey, here's the whole plot in our 2-minute trailer, guys, or all the jokes, which we might have a couple of those in our next 2 trailers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think but I'm with you, Jay. Cautiously optimistic, but you never know. We could have something cool coming. I just don't know how big their budget is to afford all of these stars.
It must be pretty deep, man, because a lot of these actors are not cheap.
No, it's a lot. But hey, we'll just have to see. I think it comes out in December, or expected. It's expected to release December 18th.
Yeah. So
we still got a few months. Man, December's a few months around the corner. I'm scared.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It flew by this whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
which
has.
I'm okay with. For the most part. Okay, but let's move on to the next one. This one is a Netflix original movie. It's a Billy Madison film, so I guess you could assume that Adam Sandler is starring in it.
Yeah.
And it's called Hubie Halloween, and it releases October 7th, so it doesn't release too far away.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was coming, but to be fair, do we really have a lot of ideas like, hey, I feel like Adam Sandler writes a movie a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
But hey, it honestly, like, I love to just turn my brain off and watch like an Adam Sandler movie. I love the classic Billy Madison stuff and his old movies. Yeah, Happy Gilmore, Waterboy, a lot of them have these classic one-liners, but lately they've been hit or miss, mostly miss. But it looked like it could be funny. I love the thing that really kind of pulls me into is like, when you actually do see Kevin James. I love him as an actor.
Yeah.
But he's got such a good looking beard.
I agree with that.
Yes. So no good. You saw this trailer. What did you think about it?
Oh, like pure excitement. Honestly, I think people and critics specifically take Adam Sandler movies way too seriously. Like they turn on a movie over the last 10 years and I don't know what they're expecting from him. Like I personally, every time I see him and his like gang of misfits all hanging out and doing a movie together, I get excited because it reminds me of like being in high school in film class, where all my buddies and I would have like the most ridiculous idea and somebody would be like, yo, go get the camera. We're going to go film this. And so that's how I feel. Like I remember a few years ago, he came out with a couple movies where they were filming on location. I'm like, what a good way to take all your buddies on vacation.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And write it all off as a work trip. But with this movie in particular, I love that they took a simple idea like Halloween and trick-or-treating and a monster and just kind of like fused it together with some comedy, some what clearly looks like is some clever jokes for the season. And honestly, I like it when Adam Sandler does his like ridiculous accents.
Right.
And so the Hubie Dubois character is going to be, I think, comical at best. So if you don't like the movie, you're probably going to really enjoy just the character himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
What about you, Jay?
Yeah, I think good. You said it best. Is you have to go into this movie wide-eyed and not and just understand it is what it is, right? You're not getting Les Mis, with Adam Sandler here. You're getting something that's going to be
who doesn't
goofy.
want that?
Yeah, exactly. I would pay to see a Les Mis Adam Sandler version. Him, Kevin James, and the whole cast. Oh man, I think
copyright it, guys.
Yeah. That's honestly my favorite part of any Adam Sandler movie, though, is just seeing how I'm like, how's this guy gonna fit in all of his buddies in some role, whatever shape or form it may be, and I'm like you, Matt. I've enjoyed a lot of the Mr. Deeds, a lot of the Adam Sandler. Mr. Deeds,
one of them.
Yeah. Like Mr. Deeds, like Waterboy, like Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore. What's the not Big Boys? What's it called? The one where he gets the kid.
Big Daddy,
yeah.
Big Daddy, yeah.
Oh, that's such a good one.
All good movies, So we'll see. Hopefully this one, Adam Sandler's are very similar to my philosophy of remakes. Like, if it's good, great. We have a new good Adam Sandler movie, and if it's bad, well, still got all the old classic ones that he's done that I've really enjoyed. So, yeah.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
His couple of the Netflix originals have been like hit or miss.
Yeah.
Some of them are really funny, but again, it's just like, people turn off your brain. Like, I know he did a serious role recently, Uncut Gems. I still haven't seen it, but the trailers and everything looked really good because it was a serious role. But I was like, you know what you're getting with Adam Sandler? Like, you're looking for stupid comedy, just like most of the time with Jim Carrey or even like Will Ferrell. Like, this is them. They're SNL guys. Like, this is what else do you expect? But I did love seeing is it Keenan? Keenan was in this.
Yeah.
And
Shaq. Yeah.
Oh wait, Shaq was in it too.
Shaq's in it too. Yeah.
Shaq's been in a lot of his stuff over the years. Like I think Grown Ups 2 and was it Blended? I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dude, Blended was funny.
It surprises me how many friends this guy, like how many, just the diversity of his friends.
Well, and even then, like, even if you are a serious actor, isn't there times you just want to have fun? Like, I feel like there'd be so much fun to film these movies. So there's multiple ways to look at it, but other people just take it way too seriously. It's like, dude, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
But hey, if you got Netflix, October 7th,
Yeah.
It releases. I'll definitely be watching it. I just got to convince my wife to watch it with me. So let's move on to another movie that comes out November 13th, which is kind of sad. It seems like it'd be more of a Halloween movie, but it's a kind of a dark comedy. It's from the director of Happy Death Day, and it's called Freaky. Speaking of Adam Sandler's friends, do you know Rob Schneider?
Right.
Wasn't he in a movie with a similar premise? It wasn't about. Oh, let me find it. I have to find this movie. I'm sorry. I think it's. Yes. Okay, it was a movie called Hot Chick.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that movie.
So this movie is called Freaky, dark comedy, and a serial killer goes to kill this girl, and they end up switching bodies. Serial killers in this high school girl's body, and high school girls in the serial killer's body. It seems, it's just that premise, but it's Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Which he's a pretty good actor, and hasn't been in a lot of stuff recently from what I remember. And so but yeah, I saw this and immediately thought of Hot Chick, and I'm like, oh
Yes,
great.
Yeah. Or Freaky Friday.
But it's that thing. But I like how it's just called Freaky. It is a horror comedy, so it looks like it'll be a little graphic. But it looks like it might be good. Like at least the trailer makes it seem like it's going to be pretty funny. So Jay, you saw this trailer. Would you watch this, or is this like too much on the line for you?
Yeah, I mean, this one just seems like either it could be entertaining, or at the very least they're gonna like go down and be such like it's gonna be like a train wreck or a car crash. It's like you can't not look away, so you're just gonna kind of want to see like how stupid or bad this goes. So yeah, I mean, like it's gonna be released on what? Is it Hulu?
November 3rd, or I don't know actually.
On what platform?
Doesn't say.
If
it's not a original, so I think it might be a rental.
Oh, all right. So it's not going to be. I'm not going to pay any real dollars for it, like in terms of specifically go out of my way to purchase this. But if I find it in October on like Hulu or Netflix, I feel like it's going to end up. To me, it just has a Hulu vibe to it. If it ends up on something like Hulu, something I already have, I'm like maybe if we just want to watch something that's kind of scary and more Halloween themed but not over the top, this seems like it could be kind of funny. It
could be. We just have to see. It could turn into a cult classic. But we've pretty much seen this premise before, the switching bodies things. It's going to be a little different of a twist.
Exactly.
I do love the thing in the trailer. I just saw it on your thing, but where they had her tied up, the serial killer tied up, and then she gets free and just starts chasing them. Like it's just like that like the kind of like the classic horror tropes.
Yeah.
What makes it should make that pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy. No good. What about you with this trailer? What do you think?
I thought it was a fun idea. Like I don't think I've ever seen a Freaky Friday theme brought into a horror film, and instantly I was like, why not? This is actually this is gonna create some interesting dialogue and dynamics just between like the cast. Because you had like the one scene that you were just referencing there where they have her tied up, and they're both sitting there and they're trying to like plead with the friend, hey, I'm this person, and they're giving a little bit of backstory, but they don't buy it. And I'm like, how else would this guy know anything about you? He's just like, but no, I'm not going to go out of my way to pay for this movie. So I'm with Jay on that one. Like, it's just not gonna. If it was coming to theaters, I wouldn't be going to theaters for this movie. But if it comes to Netflix or a streaming service, I'd probably check it out. I'm a little sad that it's got a November release date. I think that's gonna.
That is weird for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna put a couple people off. I think because there's so many people in the world now that are gearing up towards Christmas as soon as Halloween's over. So to bring that almost middle of the month in November might draw some people away from it. But I like Vince Vaughn. I think he's awkward. His comedy style is I don't want to say choppy, but you ever listen to the way he like delivers lines and he's funny. So it'll be good. I mean, anytime Vince Vaughn's twerking in a movie,
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna see a certain demographic go to it.
Yeah.
and I'm excited because I like Vince Vaughn. So
Yeah. I like him in more comedy roles too than I do like more serious ones. I don't know. I just feel it fits him a lot better.
I agree 100%. Like, I mean, he did really well in what was that show called? It was an HBO show a few years ago.
Fact checkers.
Let's
see.
It was detective. It was a detective show. Anyways, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Anyways, very good.
Was he in True Detectives? Is that what it was?
True Detective. Yeah, that's right.
I never watched
And
it.
so
I
that
just knew
was-
that's what he was in.
That was a relatively serious role, and I thought he did very well. But I've always liked him and Owen Wilson together.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, they're
they
so good.
They play off together. Like there's clearly great chemistry between those two.
Yeah.
That you just want to bottle it up and keep it with you when you go and hang out with your friends.
Yeah. I bet you any money this movie was trying to hit an October release date. October
Some had to
31st.
happen. Yeah.
And COVID,
Yeah.
like COVID just, the reality has slowed a lot of things and pushed a lot of things back. And Friday the 13th, the last like scary weekend.
Oh, that's
you know?
right. Yeah, Friday the 13th. Okay.
So that's
Oh, I see.
what they
makes
probably
more
ended up
sense.
having to do is
I
like,
didn't realize it was Friday the 13th that was releasing.
yeah.
Neither did I. So
Yeah.
that makes some sense.
That doesn't completely mitigate where we would still like it before Halloween, but still, like, I have a lot of friends who are into really into Halloween year round. Even like, my friends got married and like she had a black wedding dress. Like, they're into the horror culture, they're scares, they're all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Friday the 13th is huge for like, so they'll still hit that kind of like demographic.
Yeah.
At least I really want this movie to do well if it's good. So because we want to, I guess still support creativity.
Yeah.
In some facets, but yeah. So Friday the 13th doesn't completely destroy it, but still Halloween would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But hey, that's all I have for trailers. So I'm gonna send it off to you, Jay, and we're gonna get into our movie news.
All right. So the big story from this past week. Last week we reported and told you guys how you could watch Mulan, what you needed to pay, even if you already had Disney Plus. And I know it upset a decent amount of our viewers and people watching the channel here. But Mulan has made a boatload of money, even though it never even had a theatrical release. It is doing like this premiere release on Disney Plus. You had to pay about $30 to get it now and watch it and basically rent it. And so it's made $33.5 million in its first weekend alone, which is insane. This 2020 remake is just going to keep bringing in the money. I mean, all these remakes typically do. Smart to release it Labor Day weekend where people had a longer, 3-day weekend to kind of watch it and
Stuck at home.
Yeah, stuck at home. What are you going to watch? But that's only half of the story. The other half is it's made $33.5 million and almost unanimously have people bash this movie, have given it poor reviews. So let's ask you guys here. What did you think of Mulan? Did you fork over $30 to see it? Mr. Mateo, we'll start with you here.
See, I was going to pay the $30, but two things kind of prevented me. First, Mulan is the original Mulan is my wife's favorite Disney movie of all time.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I offered like, hey, we'll pay for it. We can watch it together. But then once we got more trailers and stuff, she's like, there's not even Mushu in it. No.
Yeah.
So she's like, no. And then I heard a couple reviews about it, and then I even like was hearing like stuff like how they removed some even parts of like the story, the original story, and there was a couple other things with its like with the message. I was like, I don't want to pay $30 right now to sit through something that I probably like. I don't want to get force fed some stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, and even then, like I heard just like the fighting was just like, eh. So I was like, I'll wait until it's just part of my Disney Plus subscription. Like I'll wait it out. But I'm still not shocked that it made that much money. But granted, when you're paying $30 for something,
Yeah.
it is going to make a lot of money when compared, like, you'd be paying like what, $10 a ticket.
Yeah. Like I said, it makes sense if you have a big family or you just have,
Yeah.
you know, a couple kids and you're like, well, going to the movies would cost us way more anyways. I could just enjoy it with my family if we have a TV or whatever, decent living room, you know? So in that sense, I could get it. But yeah. But no good. What about you? What did you think of this news here? Are you surprised at how much money Mulan made? And are you going to check it out yourself?
I'm not surprised at how much money it made. None of that came from me.
Yeah.
But and not without pressure either. Like the kids, they as soon as they saw it on Disney Plus, they were like, "Dad, we got to watch this movie. Can we get this movie? Can we watch it?" And I was like, "If you only knew about LimeWire."
Exactly. Yeah. You're gonna have to go through a lot of like video files that claim to be the movie that aren't.
Because yeah, dad's got the hookup then. But no, we decided not to rent it, not for any reason. Like I love Mulan. One of my kids loves Mulan, but I'm a sucker for the music in Mushu as well.
Yeah.
They would have had to use most of their budget, I think, just to get Eddie Murphy to be the dragon anyway. So
yeah.
But I'm not surprised at all that it did really well. I think it was a smart play by Disney to try to like capitalize on like a premium service within the app. I don't know how many of those same people that paid $30 are going to be happy when it reverts down into just like being included with everything else. So if I was Disney, I would have almost said, you know, for the $30 a month or extra whatever, almost like an extra fee each month, you get premium access to different stuff that they want to put on there. So that could be original content, or it could be even more films, rather than just paying for the movie the one time and then having to do it again for the next one.
Isn't that what it is though? Isn't it like you pay for the premium service? Like I don't know exactly how the service works because I didn't do it. Because I was hearing rumors that's how they're actually looking to release Black Widow the same way is as a premium service. Like this. So I was like, if it's just an add-on subscription fee you get movies early, then heck yeah, Black Widow releases, I'm going to be getting that one
for sure.
But yeah, I don't know how it all works and how it will tie in. It'll be interesting for sure. Like I like the idea of having a premium service. If you have the money to pay for it and you're getting a lot of like special content, all for it.
Yeah,
go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
But
I'm not really sure how it works
money.
either.
Yeah,
you're right. No, I was just gonna say I'm not sure how it works either. So if I'm completely wrong here, correct me. But
I think it's still kind of getting fleshed out, some of the details more too, because again, there isn't like, okay, here you now have access to these things. It's Mulan was kind of the door that started it and opened it up. So we'll kind of see. But if I was a betting man, I would guess that if they want to keep people paying that $30 or just move the price point from paying whatever people are paying now, like $10.99 or $11.99, whatever it is, to that $30 price point, they're gonna might move their Star Wars stuff like Mandalorian season 2.
If they do that, like I will be a little upset that they would like, hey, look, 2 weeks early you can watch Mando season 2. And that like might be a little too greedy. Like I understand for like getting like theatrical releases or something, like a month or two ahead of time, I would understand that. But like, hey, look, our TV series now, we know this is gonna be a big hit. Let's capitalize on this. And I'm like, okay, guys, there's a line when it comes to the greed.
I'm personally not opposed to like a tiered system in terms of subscribing, right? So if they came out tomorrow and said that to me, $14.99, you get 2 weeks early access to The Mandalorian. Take my money.
True.
Yeah, take my money.
Yeah, $14.99 isn't that big step. Like I'm already paying. Actually, I'm paying that for it because I have Hulu and ESPN Plus with them.
Right.
So like I already do that. I was like, okay, so adding like an extra $5 or $10, that's okay. But if it was like a reoccurring like $30, I'm like,
I think they would have to do it a little differently. You're right. I think the price point would have to come down a bit, but I would bet if I could money on that they're gonna try to do that with more stuff because they obviously want to increase that price point and make it permanent and not just once every 3 months when a tentpole movie like Mulan comes around. They want to keep people in that anyway. So, yeah. And maybe even going forward, they're going to work out some deals with movie theaters. I know that's what we've talked about before with Regal and AMC. Like, okay, we have the theatrical release, but then we have this like premiere release that's still going to be on streaming sites because COVID, you know.
Right. Well, and they kind of already had like some of those, like some movies you can buy early, like and then they'll allow them up for digital rental. So like, you know, whenever Avengers Endgame release or even the Star Wars movie release, you can buy them digitally already, like, or Blu-ray release, and then after like a week or two, then you can actually rent them.
Yeah.
So, but Ironheart, or not Ironheart, Jack of All Studio did say it's a one-time fee for Mulan at this point. It's not a reoccurring fee. So, yeah, at this point, it was only the $30 for Mulan. Okay, got it.
I'm just thinking they see how much potential and how there is a market. Like $33.5 million isn't just a couple people being like,
oh, yeah, those
I'm
shareholders
bored.
are seeing this. So they're like,
they're going to go, how do we get these same people, at the very least, and if not more people, to jump on board? You know, and clearly people have the money that are already subscribers, have the money to pay a little bit more for things that they really enjoy and to get it. Because I think they've made it pretty clear that Mulan's going to be free on Disney Plus at some point.
Yeah.
Like, in like a month or so. So it's not like you have to wait a super long time. This is just people who are just bored and want new content, you know, like now.
If it's a one-time fee, then my question would be, if I'm paying $30 for Mulan, am I only able to watch it the one time?
I think so, yeah.
Or is it now integrated into my app? I can watch it whenever I want.
I would hope it'd be integrated. Yeah, I would hope it was just like early access to it.
Yeah.
But that's my hope. Like I said, I don't think any of us have tried it. So Chad just said, what I liked about it is that you can watch the movie as many times as you want, so you're paying for early access, not just the rental.
Gotcha.
Perfect.
That's good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, at that point, that is like, you know, but Disney Plus, they just kept it on their site. Like, you know, like I said, all these other ones, like if you went on Amazon when Avengers released to Blu-ray, you can buy it digitally, and then after like a month or something, it was like early access, then you could rent it for the $5.
Going to the other side of the story, though, like with actual, like it was soul crushing for my wife when I had to tell her, like, Mulan, like, is not getting too many good reviews, you know, like right off the bat. And it's been my issue with a lot of these.
The music sounds good.
Yeah, like the music that they do have in there sounds good, but again, they took out reflection. You know, they don't actually have reflections in there. They don't have Make a Man Out. You know, it's all of these like instrumental background pieces that sound beautiful, but aren't the same thing. You know, and they go for this more realism and realistic approach to these movies sometimes, and that's why they claim that's why they didn't include, you know, Mushu, and like you guys said, it's probably more they didn't want to pay Eddie Murphy. But then they throw in like they have like a phoenix that like follows her around and talks to her, and it's kind of like a waypoint in the movie. Yeah, so they add in a phoenix, even though it's meant to be a more like realistic, classic, you know, movie. And then, yeah, the messages just that they had in it, where the original Mulan was very much like, hey, your secrets, they catch up with you. You know, your lies catch up with you, don't lie. Where this movie was much more of be free, be who you truly are, you know, and who cares what the world thinks of you type of message. So, I don't know. I've not enjoyed really any of these remakes up to this point. Aladdin was probably the most enjoyable, but aside from that, and even that was like, okay, it's not as good as the original animated, but yeah, I just feel like a lot of these are just, they're not living up. I mean, obviously they're making money, so they're going to keep doing them, but I've yet to be really, really stoked about one of these and come out like, yes, I'm glad I watched this.
Yeah, I even got into like a light argument with my wife about like all these like remakes and stuff, and it was with multiple people, but I'm just like, she's like, I really enjoyed the Beauty and the Beast remake. That was like the best one. That was better than the original. And I was like, how dare you? I was like, the original cannot be touched. Like, you cannot. I jokingly said, she said that. I jokingly said, I was like, I want a divorce. jokingly. It was all in good fun because we were like messing around with each other. And I said, you know, once they hit that Little Mermaid thing, you know, that Little Mermaid remake, I'm like, I'm done. No more Disney. Like, no.
Cancel it all.
Canceled. Well, oh, dude. And there's been a lot of extra criticisms with Mulan, though.
Yeah.
Not just the movie side.
Yeah. Father Ironheart said, do you guys think they don't live up because the classics are just that classic, or is nostalgia playing a really big role for you guys?
I think a lot of it comes down to nostalgia, hands down. I look at even the Star Wars franchise, and there's flaws. Yeah. You could go back to the original trilogy even right now and see all the problems, all the flaws. You could pick it apart if you really wanted to, but nobody touches it in certain areas just because it's your childhood. It's what you grew up on, or it's a piece that you connect with a point in time in your life, and you just don't want to tarnish it. So I look at like Mulan, Make a Man Out of You. That's my jam, yo. So what's Mulan if I can't sing along to that song? To me, like with Beauty and the Beast, I really liked that they took more of a theatrical approach versus the Disney movie specifically. They were because some of the songs that were actually included were in the Broadway the Broadway show of it. So it was really well done. I'm not a big fan of all the remakes though. Like I watched The Lion King, everyone was like, this is so good. It was bad. I just felt like there was no emotion in it because
but it was too technical. Like it was technically, it was amazing, like from the tech side and like the production side, because even I was under the impression that they actually filmed some things on location, and like no, it was all CG. Like it was 100%, and I was like shocked because it looked so good. But then you get to the actual like content of it, I was like, Timon and Pumbaa, nope.
They were the worst part of that whole movie.
We still love, like, we watched the heck out of Lion King 1.5 just because of Timon and Pumbaa. Like, you know, there's a line there, but I will say there's two movies that really killed the whole remakes for me. Like you said, Beauty and the Beast was good. I did like how they expanded some story, but still can't beat the original. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I watched Lion King. Aladdin was good. Still, like, even to me, like, I like Aladdin Broadway. Like, the Aladdin Broadway stuff is really good. Yeah. But Dumbo and Jungle Book, in my opinion, were really bad. But hey, you can still find an enjoyment in bad movies. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that at all. You can still enjoy something, but like, Dumbo, I couldn't. No.
I was just gonna say you just have to look at Adam Sandler movies. You know, we call it finds
full circle.
I agree with the Dumbo thing. I'll be interested to see what their next project is with a live action Disney movie. I'm really hoping. I'm really hoping that they don't do The Little Mermaid.
They are. Last week on our show we did like a full rundown of the next like 15 movies they're doing. They're doing Cruella de Vil featuring Emma Stone or Emily. Oh yeah. Not Emma Stone. It was
Emily Blunt?
No.
Are you sure? What
Amazing Spider-Man? It might have been Emma Stone. I was trying to remember her name. Whoever was Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, her.
Yeah.
So her. They're doing Hunchback of Notre Dame. They're doing Little Mermaid. They're doing they're not doing Sleeping Beauty, but they're doing her Prince. I think it's literally called Prince or something.
That's interesting.
They're doing that one. They're doing I'm trying to remember the other ones. There was like 10 at the very least on the list that we were looking at, but
can we just get a
there's a Hercules one. There's Hercules.
Yes.
Yeah. So
okay, I like Hercules.
I need them to include the music.
Danny DeVito in it.
Yes, Danny DeVito as Phil again.
Yeah, that would be easy because they could just CGI that character.
Yeah.
Well, and Danny DeVito is already really short, so we're good.
So it fits.
Put this first skirt on, and I want you to walk from this X to that X over here. You remember, you did this in the 90s.
Yeah. Chat, I will fight anybody on a more beautiful Disney moment than Phil at the end of the movie getting the recognition from the crowd going, that's Phil's son, and then he looks up at the clouds and sees Hercules and him in the stars, and a tear falls from his eye. There is not a better Disney moment. Fight me, chat. I will fight anybody on that. There is not.
Now, dude, totally today I'm throwing on Hercules on the big TV. Let's go.
Such a good movie.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
And Hunchback is an underrated movie. They could really hit that one really well.
Yeah.
I would prefer some of these remakes, and of course, granted, like we want to give them some creative liberty. But like I more I was more okay with like Beauty and the Beast because they still had the classic music in it,
Right.
or they still had the singing stuff, and so that I was okay with. But it was like seeing something completely like switch, it'll be either really good or really like everyone's gonna hate it. Like I'm not saying it's bad or anything like this. So I will watch Mulan at some point. Just like Chad said, like I'm into like any kung fu movies, any martial arts movies. Like I really like that fighting styles anyway. Like I want to watch it for that. But with everything that I've heard, I'm like, I'm gonna stay away for a little bit. So we just have to see where that goes.
I think we need more classic animation Disney, if I'm being honest. I would love to see John Wick in,
CG.
Classic
Disney style.
Just, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I'd pay premium for that one on Disney Plus.
Hey, anything with Keanu in it, I'm buying. So, okay, like ever since I watched Point Break, too young of an age, by the way, when my dad made me watch Point Break on VHS, Keanu Reeves is the man. If he's in the movie, I'm watching it.
I mean, he made Toy Story 4 for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember first watching Toy Story 4.
Canada.
Yes. We first watched Toy Story 4 and I was like literally looking at Meg and I'm like, Meg, you know who that is? She's like, no. And I was like, it's Keanu Reeves. And she's like rolling her eyes. I'm like, this is why I'm watching this.
So good. So good.
All right, let's move on to our other big movie topic for today, guys. And I know many have been divisive on Disney remakes, and we're gonna stick with that divisiveness. It's part of the theme of today. In this next movie we're gonna be talking about, and that is our review of Iron Man 3. It's, as many of you guys have known, we've been doing our Marvel marathon here. And we talked about the Avengers. We're doing the chronological timeline, not the release timeline. So it's getting a little bit of a different perspective here. But Mr. Potato, we'll start with you. Before watching this movie, what were your overall thoughts on what you remembered about the movie, what you thought you were going to give it on a scale of 1 to 10, what you had given it the first time you watched it?
So out of all the Iron Man movies, other than like the original, so between the 3 Iron Man movies, I've seen this one probably the most, or it's like tied with the first Iron Man. So I've already seen it a lot, and mainly because I liked the way there's some things in this movie, but I like the way they dealt with some of the harder issues. Mm-hmm. But I did watch it opening night at Downtown Disney with like my whole friend group at the time, so that like I guess instilled more memories into it. But I actually enjoyed the movie when it first came out. I know a lot of people didn't, but I definitely liked it more than Iron Man 2. So yeah, that's a good positive.
Yeah, no
good.
Easy
positive. Rourke alone.
Man, it is weird seeing Mickey Rourke. I love him, but it was a weird arc.
Yeah. So no good. I know you watched some of this in preparation too. What were your overall thoughts the first time you watched it? Did you enjoy this movie? What camp were you in? Because I feel like there was two people who just loved this movie and people who thought it was the worst Iron Man out of any of them. Where did you fall?
With Iron Man, I saw all of them in theaters. And I remember the first one, I felt like it was lightning in a bottle. Like it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Start to finish, I was completely just fixated on the screen. And when I left the theater, I wanted to just go back in and watch it again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. When I watched the second one in theaters, I left the theater, went home, watched The Wrestler to remind myself that Mickey Rourke is a good actor.
Yeah.
Right.
And the third one, I could not get into it. I just did not. I read the comics growing up as a kid. Maybe my expectations were just a little too high for the Mandarin and for just everything that it could have been. I always love that Tony Stark has he's such a human side to himself that he he reluctantly shows until he has to.
Mhm.
And then he gets really emotionally involved in other characters' story arcs. So, I mean, the movie's not terrible, but I wasn't. I told you before we started. I tried to watch it again last night. I passed out 15 minutes into it because I was like, I should just watch the first Iron Man. So.
Yeah, so we had Jon Favreau. Oh, hang on one second. My dogs are barking. I'll be right back.
No worries.
Bark.
Bark.
Time filler. It sounded like he said we had Jon Favreau, and I was like, wait, you interviewed Jon Favreau?
I was going to say we got him on the call. Bring him on.
Oh,
we'll talk about Jungle Book.
Man. Oh, well, didn't he also do Lion King?
Yes.
Yeah. So
he was also in Friends season 3.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, he played Pete, the wannabe he was a billionaire wannabe UFC fighter.
I've only seen like a couple episodes of Friends, so.
Yeah, he was in like really good shape back then. Like the guy's always been in relatively he used to take really good care of himself. Now he has this like weird show on Netflix. It's like a cooking show.
Oh yeah, I've seen the trailers and stuff for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I see. Here's the thing, though. I would watch Friends, but Meg's mom is obsessed with Friends, so Meg's seen too much of it. So she's like, I'm good for now.
How do we get onto Friends? We were talking about
Jon Favreau.
Yeah. I was gonna mention him and say that I think what really helped with Iron Man 1 was that he was pretty hands-on with it, and kind of directed it. And then number 2, he kind of gave a little bit more of that grip to another director, which I think kind of played into it being pretty bad or not as good as the first one. And then this one, again, same thing. He's accredited as a producer of it and kind of overseeing it. But Shane Black was the director of this. Shane Black has done a lot of other comedies. And it seems like, as I've talked to a bunch of people, it seems like those who really dislike it were people who just had high expectations, that were comic book readers, and just kind of were looking for a lot of like the Mandarin and, like looking for more of a serious role, and then kind of got more of this jokey, character and jokey plot twists throughout the movie. So yeah, so I totally get it. And even I remember the first time I saw it being like, God, was this really that good? But let's jump into the actual review then now of watching it here and now. Mr. Potato, you saw the beginning of this whole thing play out.
Yep.
What did you think of the introduction of this movie, basically setting up the premise of where we're going, what we're doing, where Iron Man is at this point in the MCU?
I enjoyed it because it was right after Avengers.
Yeah, Battle in New York.
And you really see Tony wrestling with that. He's just tinkering, and he's the mechanic. He's trying to fix everything, and he won't sleep. And you really see the effects, and because Tony's like so selfish and all this stuff, he won't try and get help.
Yeah.
He'll just try and work through it, and he won't ask anyone for anything. And so I really liked that part of this movie. And you really kind of seeing his thing, like, take away all the other stuff where we get nerdy about it. And like, we didn't like the way they might have, messed with the Mandarin or anything. Like, I really enjoyed this stuff because you really just kind of see him, just trying to deal with it. And maybe that's because I even had like, personal experience with a close family member dealing with PTSD and severe stress and all this stuff and having problems with that too. So maybe it probably hit closer to home. Seeing it like that, but I really enjoyed like a lot of the setup and the coming back from it and him dealing with like anxiety and PTSD.
Yeah, I like the opener. I thought I think this movie as a whole, the reason why I typically like this movie, I fall more in the like this movie camp than hate this camp, is because I feel like it's a good palate cleanser from coming off of the Avengers, where it was very action packed. It was it was a team up movie. It was awesome and it served its purpose well. And I think Iron Man 3 kind of plays a similar role that like Ant-Man played, or that Homecoming or Far From Home plays. It's like after this major story, we have this more like personal, like it's not, the world isn't going to end tomorrow if the hero doesn't save the day, but this more character driven story. And so I really like the opener. I think we had joked about this in back in Iron Man 1 or Iron Man 2, but talking about like how stupid it was that Happy is the, you know, security guard to Iron Man, the man who literally builds these iron suits. And I love that they threw that joke in here too, where when he gets his promotion, he's like, you know, I got laughed out of the bars. Like nobody would take me seriously when I tell him I'm Iron Man's bodyguard. So he's like, now I finally have a real job and working at.
I have a real job.
Yeah. So I loved that part of it. I love that little thing. Those are like little things on the rewatch that like I didn't notice the first time around. Also, the other really big thing, and I don't know if it's just because I've become more of a comic book fan throughout, you know, the time of when I saw this, when I was, this came out 7 years ago, I think. So when I was like 21 versus now, you know, and I'm just involved myself more in the Marvel world and the games and other things that like, call me stupid because it's so throughout the entire movie, but I did not realize what a presence AIM was in this movie.
Yeah.
And AIM is such a big, you know, it's like Oscorp essentially, you know, like it is a big name. There's a lot of story to be taken out of that well, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe to me just before I see the name, but it didn't mean anything. Whereas when I see it now, or even in the opening parts of like, oh, this is AIM getting started, I couldn't help but think that Iron Man 3 is going to play such a bigger role in terms of like drawing from and has been set up for a lot of things. We already know they're coming out with like the real Mandarin and
the 10 rings
and the 10 rings. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we're also going to get things like you know, X-Men and all these other things. And even it made me think back to Ant-Man and the Wasp 2, where, you know, where they go and they meet up with somebody and it's like, oh, my buyer, my client, and we don't know what company it is, and some people are like, oh, it's Oscorp, oh, it's you know, it's the Hand or whatever. I'm like, what if it's AIM? You know, like AIM's been set up now. It's been in the MCU for a while, like, and we don't know what happens next, and he's not the sole owner of it, you know, like this guy and the villain was the face of it, but yeah, I'm like, what if AIM's getting ready to gear up and do something big? You know, we haven't seen them really outside of this movie in the MCU. So yeah, I really like the opener, and to me really kind of showed where the MCU can still continue to grow in and develop. But No Good, you saw this before. What did you think of this opener? Is this the part for you? Was it the opening stuff that for you made you dislike the movie?
I think it was my own expectations that made me not like the movie. You know, as a comic book fan, I think I expect something different, maybe more no, I want to say factual, just more sticking to source material. So like I said with the Mandarin, it kind of there was a bunch of plot twists in that movie, some of which I actually really found comical and enjoyed. Yeah. But overall, I just had a hard time getting into it. I did like, and like Matt had said, I really did enjoy the humanity in Tony. Yeah. They do such an amazing job fleshing him out in almost every movie, because he's got such a stone cold exterior. Yeah. And then when he starts opening up, you can see he's just like this warm, like little teddy bear of, you know, but
he's just like everyone else.
But I only got as far as the opening. So remembering everything in this film it escapes me. But
no, you're good.
It's I think it was my own expectations when I went and saw it in theaters that really killed it for me. Was I wanted, you know, you come off Avengers, you come off something so high, and I can see on the one side you're like, I really want something to kind of just like reset the tone, just bring it back. And in my mind, I was like, how do you follow that up? Yeah. How do you follow this up and build on it? And I didn't feel like, at the time, I didn't feel like it was going to be taking us anywhere. But I did find it interesting that you brought up AIM, because my brain instantly was like, Marvel's Avengers, the video game, the main villain is AIM. Yeah. Almost as if they're grooming the audience.
That's what made me think of it too,
to start getting ready for AIM. So maybe you've nailed that completely on the head. It could very well be that Iron Man 3 actually holds a lot more of a foundation than even I anticipated all those years ago when I went and saw it.
Yeah, because again, like not even accrediting it to Shane Black, but Kevin Feige and the Marvel heads, you know, Marvel overlords, like they could have named that company it could have been Company X, you know, like, and but they didn't. They make it a very big, and like I said, as I watched the entire movie, I'm like, how did I not? But again, I didn't know what AIM stood for, what stories they could draw out of it. But it is so, Tony wears in the whole third act, we're going to talk about this in a minute, but literally his shirt is an AIM shirt. You know, everything ties back to AIM, which is just, to me, I'm like, okay, they're definitely gearing us up for something more here to do with them. This is just the setup movie for it. But let's go into the middle section here, Matt. Let's talk about, you know, the Mandarin a bit piece here, the kind of investigation parts that we get of Tony trying to piece things together, figure it out. We got Iron Patriot now instead of War Machine. We see, you know, what happens with Pepper a bit. What did you think of the whole middle section of the movie? Tony finding himself pretty much. And
again, a lot of stuff to do with Tony and his humanity. They No Good said it perfectly. They do really well in pretty much all movies. So I enjoyed it. I like seeing Detective Tony. Yeah. Because, you know, just, you know, another billionaire guy playing detective.
I did make a note last night. I'm like, this is very Dark Knight Rises. This is like basically our making Iron Man very Batman-y, you know, like I have this tech, you know, and I'm much more than just my tech, but I'm going to do all this crime solving and figure out because I'm a tech genius, you know, I'm going to hijack this van and
I thought it was very fun. You know, always a little funny stuff. But hey, it's limited edition. Again,
the limited edition Dora watch.
Yeah. I just love how like he plays off like he's such a douche.
Yeah.
And he's still doing that whole thing, but really like he's a really caring guy.
Yeah.
And like you even see it where the middle part, you know, where the attack happens on his mansion and where he's like, oh yeah, I don't remember you. I don't even remember what I ate. And then all of a sudden he knows her name. Like, so he knows, he remembers a lot of stuff. He just doesn't talk about it because, you know, it's probably like, you know, hurts him. Like he was such a douche all those years ago or anything like this. So it's very interesting. It adds more depth to his character. And it makes you love him more.
Right.
So, but yeah, I like the middle part. I will say, I made note of this last night when I watched it, was I just love how like, what are we doing here? He lands in Tennessee and Jarvis is like, I made a flight plan.
Yeah. Well,
Old Jarvis.
I thought it was random at first too. I'm like, of all places, like why would you take him there? Like why would, you know, especially when he needs to get back to Pepper and he doesn't even know what happened to all of them. But then I realized that the reason why is because he was setting up the coordinates beforehand to investigate these like explosive sites where these bombs from the terrorists had gone off. So Jarvis was just taking the last known location that he was planning to go to and took him there. So that's why I was like, yeah, this forest thing doesn't make sense. Like, why would he go all the way out over here? But then I thought about it and remembered earlier in the movie from that. Yeah, I love, like you're saying, Matt, like his whole demeanor, like even with the kid, he's like, where's your parents? And the kid's like, well, my mom just went to work. And my dad just went to 7-Eleven to go buy scratch-offs, but he must have won because that was 6 years ago. And Tony's like, get over it, kid. Every parent's, all parents.
He did say that. Don't be but it's that. And then I will say, I literally laughed out loud and Meg was asleep last night and I laughed and she woke up to me laughing. But it was the part where he's like, oh, I'm on mission. I know what I need to do. I'm going to go drive away. And it was after the whole interaction, he got the AIM files, and he's like, I need to upload or need to hack into, you know, the suit. And he, and you know, he's like, you're trying to guilt trip me, aren't you, kid?
Yeah.
And he's like this, and he's like, you know, and he's like, it's so cool. You know, and he's like, you know how I can tell? Because we're so connected, and just drives off.
He just leaves them.
And it's like, there's a lot of parts of this that are really good. And like I still feel like even if, and I say this about a lot of things, you can still find entertainment in something that you know that might not be objectively like the perfect movie. You can still find entertainment in it. So that's what I enjoyed about all this middle part stuff. It's where we get towards like the ending in the third act, the final act, that where it gets a little
Yeah, this
to
is
me.
a movie that for me, as it continues to go on, like deteriorates so much worse. Like the opener is probably the strongest part for me in this entire thing. The middle is okay, and then the ending is like just unravels what has been done in the first 2 acts. And No Good, maybe your comic knowledge can help me with this and understand it a little better. I hate War Machine. Like I like him a little bit better in
I
like
hate
Civil
Iron
War.
Patriot.
Iron
I was
Patriot, I
never a
guess.
fan.
I'm just like, I do not get the appeal of him because here he is. I understand he's a soldier. He's a better shot than Tony, but like he doesn't earn any of the stuff that he has. Like he doesn't understand what he's using. You know, like everything that he has just been gifted to him from Tony, and I'm like, so that doesn't make you a hero. You're just a guy who got a suit from the guy who makes the suits. You know, like I don't know. I've never found the appeal of him. I like him, like I said, a little better in Civil War. But he doesn't have as much of a role there. You know, like he's even more of a side character, 2 side characters. Is he better in the comics at all?
I never really liked him, so
Okay.
I never went out of my way to make sure I included him in any of my reading.
Yeah.
I've always felt the same way. This is a guy that, in my opinion, was gifted what he was like what he has and doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't understand the gravity of the situation. Now, I haven't read a comic with him in it in a really long time, so I don't know if that's changed since then. But I've never really seen the appeal to him, other than the fact that his suit looks cool.
Yeah, and I get that he's like
he looks.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say he looks really cool. That's about it.
Yeah, and I understand that like he's meant to be a foil character to Tony in some ways, whereas Tony's, you know, like a little bit more wild and free. He's a little bit more chained to government and is more grounded, I guess, in some ways than Tony is. But I don't know. I don't feel like his character, they wrote him well in this movie. Like, because he just comes across as like this undeserving guy who's never really earned the right to do these things. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah.
I will say there is one thing I didn't enjoy, and it wasn't when he was War Machine or Iron Patriot, but the buddy cop duo that they had in a couple of the scenes, that was fun.
Yeah.
Hands down. But
yeah. But all right, let's talk about the ending, because like I said, I think it's really here that this is what makes or breaks it for a lot of people. Let's talk about the ending. We'll talk about the Mandarin reveal. Let's talk about the final fight scene, what happens to I was gonna say Pam. Her name's not Pam. Gwyneth Paltrow's character. Why am I drawing a blank on her name?
Pam.
What's her name?
Pam.
Potts, Pepper Potts.
Potts.
I'm gonna
That's-
forever remember that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call her Pam in every
Pam.
movie.
Pam.
Yeah. Pan. I was thinking of Potts, and then I went to Pan, and then I went to Pam. That was my thought process there. Well, let's talk about the ending a little bit here, and then give it a final thought and final review of our watch of it in 2020. So, Matt, we'll go to you. What did you think of the ending? Did you like the ending as much? Did you not like the ending?
I did not like the ending as much as the beginning and middle. Because of the twist and everything. It was funny.
Yeah.
But it didn't hold as much weight because of it. Like I get the idea of like, oh man, like, you know, the whole thing of Aldrich was like, I'm behind the scenes. I'm literally can control the war on terror. I have both in my hands. Like he's really just controlling them. Like he's the puppet master, which I do like the idea of having like a puppet master and you have all these puppets. Like that's a good idea, but I don't feel like that was like done well in this movie. But there was like it was like I said, it was funny, but the Mandarin reveal, because you have Ben Kingsley, such a world-class actor, and then it just turns into that, and I'm like, it put a sour taste in my mouth at the time. Rewatching it, I'm like I said, I'm trying to find the enjoyment process in it, like where I'm not like just gonna be salty about it. You know, take it for what it is. But yeah, I wasn't as excited about that. And then the fight, I will say, you know, being just a nerd, I love seeing all the suits.
Yeah.
Because I remember when Iron Man 3 was when they were doing all the press and they're hyping it up. You know, it was when I still lived in California, and so actually it was at Disneyland all the time, and so they actually had like they had a special
suits.
like they had Iron Man's Hall of Armor.
Oh, that's sick.
and
Cool.
and it was like, you know, the shots, it wasn't like all the armor, but like his main builds, and they had the Mark 42 out, and it's like when like Kinect was like doing a thing, so you actually could do like they play the Iron Man Xbox One game and at Disneyland, and so it was really cool the way they did all that. Yeah, so I loved all the suits and everything, and even like I was nerding out about it because I was like I was like, oh wow, like looking at like the heart of it, because you know, when Tony started building like arc reactors inside the suits, and like, so you're seeing all this really cool stuff. I was like, I enjoyed that part, but it was just another basic fight scene. Like I said, it didn't have depth, enough depth for me, and it seemed like there wasn't as much on the line, I guess. Like you did see like, you know, his reaction. Of course, I know it's an older movie, but I still don't want to completely spoil everything. But you see Tony's reaction to that fall, and I was like, at the time, I was like, oh crap, like no. And then I was like, oh, it was played off. But yeah, other than that, it was okay. But yeah, that's the biggest downfall of this movie to me is the final act.
Yeah, and then even he makes like jokes like a minute or two after he sees her fall and thinks she's dead, and he's still like witty and joking. I'm like, how are you doing that? Like, how are you not crushed? You know, like, or just
I'd be murdering everybody,
you know,
like decapitating. I don't care.
Kill mode.
Exactly. No,
it's a very different movie now.
Yeah.
But no good. Again, like we've been saying, the ending is probably the most divisive part of this entire movie. Was there one thing for you that really just like peeved you or annoyed you? You had, like we said, the Mandarin reveal, the final fight scene, and then you even have like afterwards that too, the removal of, you know, the arc reactor in his chest, the removal of the shrapnel. Were any of those things part of what for you made it a negative experience?
I would say, like I said, okay, so back to the expectations. So you come out of watching Avengers, and it would be like watching a pay-per-view boxing match.
Yeah.
This amazing heavyweight versus this amazing heavyweight. They collide, and then it's this amazing. The winner of that match fights a jobber. You know, like. For me, I always, when I watched it, I felt like it was a little anticlimactic, because I was like, why is this such a big deal?
Yeah.
When the last threat was so much bigger.
Yeah.
Like, so how am I supposed to, as the viewer, get excited about this? I loved seeing all the suits. Yeah. I loved the suits. That was the coolest part of that whole movie, I thought. Because I buy right into that. Like if there was a video game out, like if Marvel right now, the game came out when that movie came out, and they were like, oh, the suits as DLC, I'd buy it all up. Just so I could have them. I thought that was the coolest thing. It always confused me, especially in that movie, because he does a lot for Pam. He does for
Pam. Yeah.
He does a lot for Pam in terms of gestures. So I mean, I love their relationship on screen. The characters. I love the actors that play them. I think that they have great on-screen chemistry, and I like watching their relationship evolve in each movie. I almost feel like the gesture of destroying the suits, taking out like out of his chest. I feel like it was almost not needed.
Yes.
Because it really doesn't. It didn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. Especially knowing what we know now.
Yeah, they just get reversed in the next movie.
Yeah, when you watch the movies following suit, and then the fact that like you could skip all the way ahead, and she's got her own suit. She's fighting with it. Right. But anyways, I'm like, you don't. I don't know. It just felt kind of pointless, and then it just. Years later, it just kind of reaffirmed it. What was the point? What was the point?
Yeah, and this is... Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, well, I just want to say that's something I did just leave out, was like, when I watched this in the theaters, at the end, I'm like, so is that the end? Like, is he ever coming back?
Is he done forever?
Is he done?
Yeah.
I think I was very confused. I was like, of course, we're like, well, he can't be. Like, they make too much money off of him. But I'm like, well, then what was the point?
Yeah,
and see, I think that was where they were trying to to take the viewer, but then you have the end credit scene anyways.
Yeah.
That was
so I just, doesn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, as this movie progresses, it unravels and undoes what came before it, even within its own movie. That's why, to me, a lot of this was so hard to like. I was like, I really, really like it, really, really like it, and then the ending was rough because, like you said, like the explosion of the suits wasn't needed. Even not even knowing what comes next or knowing that Civil War was going to happen or whatever. In that very same scene, right before he does it, she goes, "I understand why you need these suits now. Like, I understand why you were doing what you were doing." So Pepper comes around to Tony's way of thinking, and then he still is just like, well, you know what? Like, let's blow it up. Like, and it's like, dude, you're stranded on this thing, on this little boat and surrounded by all these bad guys you just took out. You don't know if you've taken them all out. Like, you don't want to keep just at least one suit in case anything to get you home. And then they're okay.
He'll call Batman.
Yeah. That was the other thing, though, for me, the other big unraveling thing that they never really addressed in this movie. And I understand it's hard, especially when you're making a whole world of people. But the entire time I'm like, dude, everybody thinks he's dead. Like Captain America, Black Widow, Hulk, Thor, anybody, like nobody is like taking this mantle up. And I understand, like, we kind of see where some of them are, but nobody. Like, what was Black Widow doing at this time? I mean, maybe she was with Cap, if we're supposed to believe that Winter Soldier was happening at the same time. But, like, where was S.H.I.E.L.D.? Anybody? There was nobody here that could help with this U.S. threat, They only bring up the battle in New York a couple times, and he's like, I don't want to talk about it, or it's triggering him. But he could have called any of them for help. And then also the fact that he has all these suits. He couldn't call one of them to come help him and get him while he was stuck in Tennessee or wherever he was.
Yeah.
That like, again, for me,
remember they were hidden.
Yeah. So he couldn't have called one of his hidden suits to come and pick him up. I mean, he probably could have got all of this done a lot quicker with a suit.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
But all right, let's give our final review thoughts then. Mr. Mateo, did your score go up or down? Did you like the movie more or less from the second rewatch?
So yeah, I will say as like my final thing, I liked it. So like I said, this was one of my more rewatched Iron Mans just because it was entertainment value. Mm-hmm. But I my score, well, I don't even remember giving the score before. But the thing was like I said, before we had all these other things, it seemed like it didn't fit well within the whole narrative. Mm-hmm. It seemed like it was like, to me, it seemed kind of out of place. So at the time, like I would say, like my score before rewatching it was like a 6 out of 10. Uh-huh. Well, now with it kind of back in with the MCU, and you see everything else is kind of branched off of it, and you see all this other stuff. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Just because like I feel like it actually fits now, and like you said, like there's so much still that can come from it. Yeah. With AIM and all this stuff, so like it will still continue. Like it's that seed that is still being watered and everything. Like something more is gonna grow from it. So we're just gonna wait to see it. But yeah, that's it got a higher score. And it's mainly because I was like, I'm not going to get salty about the controversial stuff. Just have fun with it.
Yeah. What about you, for No Good? Did it go up or down in your mind as we've talked about it today? Do you like it more or less now, even more as you remember it and makes you angry?
Makes me, I just start turning green,
Yeah.
I would probably say I'm still sitting right where I was.
Right where
it wasn't right where I was. I do like the idea of AIM though, having way more relevance, because I would, in my head, I don't remember really singling them out as an entity when I watched the movie back then. I think it would be interesting because Red Hulk was a part of AIM in the comic books. So with Bruce Banner being the way he is now, it would be interesting to see a different Hulk.
Yeah. And in a post Tony Stark world, somebody's got to fill that tech void,
Yeah, exactly. So when I look at scoring this, I'd probably give it around a 7
Yeah.
out of 10. Yeah, because I mean, like you guys said, it's good in the areas that it needs to be good as a good film. In terms of, I mean, there's action. Some of the dialogue is really good. There's some really good jokes. I personally like the idea of exploring Tony Stark in a post Avengers world. However, you know, like you say, it starts to really unravel as you watch the movie all the way through. So
yeah, for me it was so hard because in some ways, like I said, there was this new appreciation as I think I've just gotten older and developed even more as like my Marvel knowledge that got me stoked for it. And then there was like the movie part where I was just like, yeah, it unravels a bit. So yeah, I think it went down just a hair from probably an 8 to a 7 for me. The one thing I really hope, if nothing else, if AIM never comes of this, if, you know, some of these other things, if the real Mandarin isn't good, like to me, the Mandarin reveal here doesn't hurt as bad as it did back then because I'm like, we're getting the real Mandarin like now in Shang-Chi. But the one thing I want just in any Marvel movie that goes forward from here is he says at one point, I forget who he's fighting. I think it's when he first meets that girl at the bar. The first like I don't even know. They don't have a name, but the people that could heat up and regain their body parts, regenerate their limbs. But he's fighting her, and he's like running from her because he doesn't have a suit, and he's like setting up traps as he's running, and she's chasing him, and then she like corners him, or she thinks she corners him, and she tells him, You're really good with. She's like, you think you can win this with cheap tricks and one-liners? And he goes, "Ma'am, someone could write a." He says his line is like, "That's like my bio," or like that's the headline of my biopic, or my when I'm dead and gone. He's like, that is the name of my autobiography. I think that's what he says, or something like that. And I'm like, I just want somewhere in the MCU for someone to have a book that is a memoir to Tony Stark, or that's what he says. That could be the headline of my memoir, and it would just say "Cheap Tricks and One-Liners" featuring Tony Stark. I just want to see that one little detail.
The story of Tony Stark.
Yeah, the story of Tony Stark.
That'd be a good Easter egg.
Yeah, but all right, guys, let us know. For those of you watching later on, those of you in the chat, let us know what you thought about Iron Man 3. Did you rewatch it with us? If so, let us know. Did you like it more, like it less? Do these ideas that you heard here today get you more excited for where the MCU could go, or do you think we're just grasping at straws here? Let us know. We'd love to hear your guys' comments. But with that, Matt, I'm going to turn it back over to you for gaming news.
Video games. We have a couple things to talk about today, and we're going to try and make it, not too long. But first, we're going to be talking about pirates. And I know everyone's like, you play Sea of Thieves, what else is new? No, this is not about Sea of Thieves this time, although there's a new update. They did just add dogs to the game, just saying. But no, this is actually about Ubisoft's pirate game, and it's called Skull and Bones. It was announced 3 years ago at 2017 E3, and it was it's essentially, well, at least what they showed, it looked like it was just like a multiplayer PvP type thing using the ship mechanics from their Assassin's Creed pirate game Black Flag, which was phenomenal. I played that game mainly so I could just be on a pirate ship the whole time, because it's a pirate game. It was delayed indefinitely last year because of just money and all this stuff. Well, now it's just re-picked up production. And they said they have it's a new vision, which I'm curious what a new vision is for a pirate game, because it's pirates. But we'll be interested to see how it goes. Hey, anything to do more with pirates, in my opinion, like I'm all for. I'm just kind of, I'm a pirate, I guess, at this point. I just genuinely enjoy that time period anyway. And like the outlawish kind of thing. So, it's very fun for me. But Jay, what is there any will you switch over to a pirate thing?
I would love to try it at the very least. For me, it's so hard to convince myself because I've played Destiny since its beta and infancy, you know. So to do like a live action or live service game, as they've been called, like it really has to be something that is like a deep desire. So like I got Marvel, you know, I bought the Marvel game because I wanted to play the beta, and that's a live service game too. Like they're just gonna keep adding stuff on, and you can keep playing forever. And even that, like I've had so little time to actually get further than like the opening chapters. I haven't even gotten to where I was in the beta, in terms of like getting my characters leveled up. So it's really hard for me to get into another one, like to convince myself to start one. But Skull and Bones looks pretty cool. I would love to try it when it comes out and just kind of see, like you said, what some of these visions are that they have for it, what they're gonna do. Because, dude, why not? I love being a pirate.
Right? Why not?
I want to be Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yes, let's go. What about you, No Good?
Skull and Bones looks good. I think my initial concern would be that it's taking so long.
Yeah.
And I instantly, when I saw that, I thought to myself, you know, Gran Turismo took 5 years, and I remember by the time it came out, people just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was thinking, although you have those, but then there's some outliers. Like it took 7 or 8 years for Red Dead 2 to come out, and like of all that development, it still had a lot of hype. So but I don't think Skull and Bones has the pull that Red Dead does.
Right. I was going to say, because the difference is that Skull and Bones is looking to compete against Sea of Thieves here.
Yeah.
Right. And Sea of Thieves is already, I mean, Game Pass, right? So, I would probably try it, but like Jay said, when you have a live service game, it's a commitment. You know,
it is.
It's a grind, and I mean, you look at any MMO, which is basically what this would be in different ways. It's like an evolved MMO. I don't know if I'm gonna I will play it. I will try it. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know if it'll I don't know if I'm gonna commit solely to this. I mean, even Avengers right now is turning into a bit of a. I wouldn't say it's hard to get motivated to play it. It's just there's a lot of stuff to do if you want to keep up. So as things roll out, you can actually enjoy the updates. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, pirate games are fun. I like being a pirate. I think that's I like having a ship. So
yep.
I would like to see more. I would love to see like some trailers, some gameplay footage, and then I can make a more informed decision.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But as of right now, I'm not gonna walk the plank for this one.
Yeah. Well, and granted, we gotta give it a little bit of time. But I thought it was cool. Like a lot of us in I guess you would call the pirate community, but mainly the Sea of Thieves community, we all. I know a lot of people who play a lot of different type of pirate games. Anyway, there's even Battle Royale just released was. Kind of inspired by Sea of Thieves, but strictly it's a battle royale pirate game. It released on Steam and it's only $20. So that's like something people are checking out. But like people were actually kind of sad because a lot of people I know on Sea of Thieves or that are like big into it right now loved like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Like because it was a big open world and you played as a pirate.
Right.
And then they're like, oh wait, so this is inspired by that. And it's going to be its own thing. Everyone was super excited, and so it's like a lot of people are excited. It's like it's actually they're back on development. Yes, finally. So it's just like still there's some hopeful people out there. I'm hopeful just because I liked the whole mantra of piracy, I guess. Yeah. But also, but mainly like it was Assassin's Creed that captured that, and then brought me into this whole world where I'm at now.
Yeah. And I think
I would be interested. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
I was just saying, I think competition's always good. Like I am always pro competitions because I think it breeds better products overall. Like
we're seeing that right now.
Yeah. If it makes Sea of Thieves have to try harder and produce better content, even like it keeps things from just being stale and being content with what they have. So hopefully it makes something good and creates some waves for you guys in the sea.
That's for sure. I was gonna say that was clever.
Thank you.
It was almost like my walk the plank comment.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see what kind of approach they take. I mean, if Assassin's Creed here is the inspiration, there's a huge difference between Black Flag and where they're currently sitting with like Odyssey, Valhalla, and Origins in terms of gameplay, the layout, which isn't a bad thing. I actually really loved playing Odyssey. I'm looking forward to playing Valhalla. So if it plays anything like that, where you get that third person view and you're able to really just kind of enjoy, like I like being able to look at my tune as I'm playing, right? Like look at my cool hat, check out my coat. Like I got a ducktail for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like and I'd be interested to see how it plays out. So
yeah. Well, we'll probably see more next year at E3. That's probably is when all the devs are looking to showcase anything. Although I know this year was kind of just scrapped. So let's move on to kind of a bigger topic or a bigger game. Yep. This one's for you, Scud. So Black Ops Cold War, the multiplayer reveal happened Wednesday. I watched it live, all 4 hours of it in its glory. Because they did the hour intro and everything. And then they did like about 3 hours of gameplay with all the COD partners and content creators. And they actually did like private matches in the alpha with all these people. And they had COD pros there. So as for some of you might not know, I'm actually, I do love pirate games, but I actually have been like my main staple in gaming has been Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. I'm like a COD veteran as it were. I started playing COD 4. Competitive sniping, and Black Ops has like kind of a more special place in my heart because my first like LAN event that I ever played, like competitive event, was actually in the first Black Ops game. And like, you know, I started like, you know, getting better, like really like focusing on like competitive gaming and trying to make money in the first Black Ops. And so I just have a special place in my heart for this time period and like the more Treyarch games. And so, but they had the multiplayer reveal and it looked like it went really well. There's a couple weird things that are a couple like the communities like being divided over. But if the Call of Duty community isn't divided over a Call of Duty game, then it's not Call of Duty. Every year someone has something to complain about. Doesn't matter which way the developers go. If they do everything that you wanted, they're going to find something that they're going to hate. That's just the way it is. But it looks good. Everyone's like, oh, the graphics look cheap. Yes, it's a little more cartoony. But man, I was watching it in like 4K on like my 4K TV, like some of the footage. I'm like, it's not bad. Like it's gonna be good. So we have betas coming out in a month. PS4 is an exclusive beta the first or second week in October. The week after is everyone open beta. It's crossplay. It'll be cross-gen. So that's going to be a huge thing. You know, even if you're on a PS4, PS5, Xbox One, or the new Xbox or PC, we can all play together, which I think is huge.
Yeah,
they're also going to connect it all to Warzone. So everything somehow, I don't know how they are, but everything that you've already earned in Warzone, all the weapons you can still use, but also everything in Black Ops Cold War connects. So it's going to be an ever-evolving game, which will be really cool. But yeah, like I said, I'm biased because I like this. I kind of like this time period.
Yeah, the
more Black Ops stuff. But it looks promising. But I say that almost every year about Call of Duty, and sometimes I get burned. But Jay, what do you think about you? This is just a multiplayer trailer. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a step in the right direction. Like, it's the right moves. You know, a lot of these multiplayer modes are ones that I've learned and known for a long time, you know, and although I'm not the biggest fan of Activision after burning a lot of bridges with Destiny and Bungie, you know, I'm willing to give this a shot, you know, and I think it could turn out well. And, you know, it just seems like it's this ever evolving grandiose world, you know, like universe, like you're saying, that there's all these tie-ins to all the other games that I'm like, man, it makes me excited to see how excited it makes you. And so I'm like, yeah, I want to check it out. I don't want to miss out on something that's going to be really, really good if it's really, really good, you know. So yeah.
I like, that's the thing about with like Treyarch. So this is Treyarch makes the Black Ops games, or like, you know, and so there's multiple different devs. If people don't know about the Call of Duty cycle, there's multiple different developers. Right now it's only 2. There was 3 at one point. But the thing that Treyarch started was zombies.
Yeah.
Like, they did the original Zombies in World at War, and it was a hidden feature at first. Like, you know, you had to beat the campaign, and then you at the end of the credits you got it. I was reliving that the other day, and it was so cool.
Yeah. And zombies is always amazing. Like, I I can't wait. If zombies
Yeah.
is going to be in there, because I didn't see it in this trailer. But
No, it's here.
Okay.
It's actually at the end. It's
is
they
it?
tease it at the end. Yeah, they tease it at the end of this trailer. And it looks like it's actually kind of like going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
At least from like the teaser. You know, granted everything could change. But I will say even Black Ops 4, the last Black Ops game they did, had good zombies in it. Zombies has been their staple. It's been what they're good at, as well as like multiplayer. But this year we have a story mode as well, and that looks good to me. But here's the thing though, like, you know, Activision has burned a lot of bridges.
Yeah.
And they're still greedy as heck. But there's something they did right in Modern Warfare, which is like their DLC model, which is more like, hey, if it's game changing, you get it for free, you can earn it. But you can buy cosmetics. So they finally did that, because for a while it was all loot boxes and it was sketchy. Yeah. And so they're still saying this is what we're doing because we don't want to screw you over. I'm like, well, thanks guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So a little more consumer friendly.
I'm just super excited for that, because I've spent hours upon hours with my brother and other people, and I've never streamed zombies. So being able to stream that and bring the community,
it'll be a lot of fun.
That'd be super fun. Yeah. And then
and it's crossplay. So yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely have to play some zombies. So, but no good. You saw this trailer. What do you think about this one?
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't. I'm so excited. Now, I don't mean Call of Duty. I would not say I'm good at all. But I love Treyarch. And as we were talking about, I took a second, because you were right. There used to be three developers that worked with Activision to make these games. It looks like Sledgehammer is actually working with Treyarch to make Cold War. So
no. Sledgehammer got nixed.
Did they get nixed?
So this year was actually supposed to be Sledgehammer's year to make Call of Duty. And Activision did not like what they were doing and essentially fired them. And Treyarch came in early and then had to fully revamp this. So this is what, maybe 2 years of development, this Cold War.
Oh, it's Raven Software.
Raven, yeah, Raven helped on Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare.
There we go. I see that. But Treyarch has always made me happy. So for me, my first experience with them was World at War.
Yeah, such a good game.
And I loved that game so much. And so going back to the Black Ops series, I think it's incredible, because I've always enjoyed those games more. I feel like their zombie mode is 100 times better than any other zombie mode that comes out by any other developer, or whatever it is that they've tried to copy. As soon as I hear that Treyarch usually has, like, if they have their hands in a Call of Duty, I'm interested. I only bought Modern Warfare because I had friends at the time that were playing it. I wasn't interested. I love timepieces. That's probably why I like World at War so much. World War II, I felt like it was a huge flop. So I'm really invested here. I watched the trailer. I watched a little bit of the multiplayer stuff that I could find on the internet. And honestly, it looks really good. I know you had mentioned earlier, Matt, that it looks kind of cartoony, but you know what? It's a video game. I don't care.
Well, exactly.
I don't care. Like, I don't need everything to look like real life when I'm playing a video game. And it's Call of Duty. I'm going to be in and out of matches before I could even hope to try to win one. So really, it's not going to make a difference to me.
You're not going to be staring at the trees like, this is a lovely, realistic tree right here.
I'm really glad they took the time to make sure this grass looks really good right here. You see the way it blows in the, like, come on.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was an Assassin's Creed game, I'd be more interested in all the little, like, finer details. But I'm really just excited to be able to play a game like this with my friends.
Yeah.
I like the idea that there's multiplayer maps separate from Warzone, which is because honestly, like, I like Warzone, but I don't play it all the time. So I like that they've got integration for the people that really do enjoy it, but I'm going to be playing probably mostly for zombies.
Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. We got our team of 3. We just need one more.
There we go.
We'll do it. We'll get high waves. Let's do it. I will say whatever happened, they did a really good job with the marketing campaign, and Treyarch always does that. They're really good, especially when it comes to Black Ops, because they're like, hey, it's super secret. like, the main guy who's the studio developer has been silent on social media the past like year and a half because he's been working on this game.
Yeah.
He hasn't said anything regarding it. And so a lot of people are even questioning, like, does he still work there? And yes, he does, because he was showcased in the multiplayer reveal. He was introducing everything, and it's cool. Yeah, so I think it's huge. It'll hopefully do really well. And then of course Xbox dropped the bombshell that Series X is dropping the week that Call of Duty does.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I know I didn't put that in there, but Series X did drop their prices, or they announced them.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
they did, I
$500 for the base Series X, and then you get $300 for the Series S. But the Series X, like the top of the line one's $500. So it's a good thing. But I think the consoles launch November 11th. Call of Duty launches November 13th. So even though it's not exclusive to Xbox, they're exclusive to PlayStation. So I'm curious on what these console wars are going to look like. But
I think it's going to be tough in Canada, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
$4.99 US, you're looking at right now about $657 Canadian.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's going to be expensive to buy an Xbox.
Yeah.
But
Pricey.
again, even if you have like currently like the Xbox One X or like any of the other consoles, like the thing about Call of Duty, it is cross-gen. So like that's the thing I appreciate. And again, I will always give credit where credit is due. Fortnite helped pave that way with crossplay. And so it's just huge, and it's good to see because we can all play together even if we're on different systems.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on. Let's move on to our next thing. Yes, I did see a lot of that. Zombies has 3 different devs. But the World War II zombies, like, it was Sledgehammer, so it didn't have the same zombie feel. It was not good. So we'll see how Treyarch gets the reins again, and we'll do some proper zombies this time. But let's move on to our last thing in gaming, and this is kind of huge. And we'll make this quick. But Ninja is now officially exclusive on Twitch. He's back. He streamed last night. I think he played Among Us with all of his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And he's back.
Yeah.
It's a lot of us speculated it was going to happen. So we'll see how it continues to go. But yeah, exclusive. So he's got a big contract, most likely. And all this. No good. What did you think when you heard this news?
I was elated, honestly. I think it's good news for everybody all around on the platform. It means that Twitch is not going anywhere, and that they have deep pockets and they're not afraid to use them. I think when you look at the competition right now in the industry with YouTube and Facebook gaming and everything that's going on, I mean, Rhyme. I mean, you gotta look out for them.
Yeah, they're coming.
It could happen. No, I think it's great because it shows that they're invested in their own platform, and from what I've read, Ninja's very interested in focusing on some of the people that aren't getting as much spotlight. So some of this, I hate to use the term, but smaller streamers. I feel like when you use that, you box yourself into a category. But for the sake of a lack of term, I think it's great that he's going to do something, or he is willing to do something. What that's going to look like, I think will be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I think it's really cool, and I kind of expected it. A lot of his friends are on Twitch. It makes good sense, so he can stream with them and partner up with them, and continue to grow here on Twitch. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know how much money or how long the contract was for, but I don't see him going anywhere in the future at all. At least 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Well, I'm just glad we could finally tell you guys. Twitch made me sign so many NDAs. They're like, look, Shadow, we want to pay you X amount, but we really, Ninja's a free agent. And I'm like, look, Twitch, don't even front. Don't worry about it. Just promise me partnership in a few months, and just give it to Ninja. He needs it more than I do right now. He just lost his platform. Help the guy out, and so I'm just glad we could finally talk about this openly with everybody. So. Oh
man, I know they sent me the email. It was originally addressed to Tim the Tap Man, but it showed up. It showed up here.
Yeah. No, but I think it'll be good either way. It's just funny because I remember going to TwitchCon last year before I lived out here and being like, well, this sucks. Like Ninja just left, you know, like, so we have Nick A30 now, and he's kind of going to be the new face. And they were trying to really hold up Tim and Nick and Valkyrie, you know, as like, this is the people. And I'm like, yeah, they're all good, but they weren't Ninja. And, you know, when you think of streaming, when you think of content creating in this way, you know, in terms of video games, like people go, oh, the next Ninja or whatever. He's the staple. He's the poster child. So to have him back on the platform, I think is just going to be a good thing all around for everybody. So, yeah. Well, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I can't imagine how much in reality Twitch really paid for him, you know?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
But, oh, sorry, like, got a little distracted.
You're good.
Like, dude, I've been like, staring off into space so much lately. But no, we'll see where we go. I really do want to know, and I will say my quick conspiracy theory is that Twitch found a way to get rid of Dr. Disrespect so they didn't have to pay him and use that money for Ninja and Shroud. Just saying. My conspiracy theory, that's it.
I need someone to redeem that in my store right now. The conspiracy theory thing. Someone do exclamation point redeem space conspiracy. Let me see. I think I can get it.
I'm doing it. I can spell conspiracy right.
I think that's what I have it set to.
No.
Oh, it's not what it is. Here, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Hang on. I'll set it up, and then someone can clip it. Okay, ready, Matt? You can tell your conspiracy in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
So here's my conspiracy theory. I think that Twitch found a way to get rid of Dr. Disrespect, ban him so they had to pay him out, and use that money to get Shroud and Ninja back on the platform.
I think it's playing. I think I played it.
It'll work.
Let's see. Waiting. Oh, I muted it. Oh, never mind. Oh my god. One more time.
All right, we'll do another take.
Yeah.
Or take 3.
Ready on the set.
You can't even redeem the sad right now, Surfer. Because
all right, Matt. This time I want you to have a little bit more conviction. Yeah. I want you to recall on a past experience in your life as you're working through these thoughts. Okay. All right. Here we go.
All right.
Jay, count it down when you're ready.
I'm gonna test it to make sure it works this time. I'm testing to make sure it works. Hang on. I want to be 100% certain that Matt gets his conspiracy theory here correct, or that it works for him. Oh, it's saying redeem, but I'm not hearing it. Surfer, can you hear it at all or no? Here, I'm just gonna pull it up on YouTube. It'll be easier. It'll be much quicker instead of me trying to
start troubleshooting stream.
Yeah. Just destroy the entire flow of the show, but it's gonna be totally worth it.
Totally.
Conspiracy theory. I don't even know what the title of it is.
Isn't it the X-Files thing?
Oh, it is the X-Files.
There you go.
All right, ready, Matt? 3, 2, 1, go ahead.
Conspiracy theory. Twitch found some like loophole or something, banned Doc, so they can use all that money to get Shroud Ninja back on their platform. Just conspiracy theory. I'm losing.
Can you guys hear it?
No.
Oh, what's playing? So it sounded good for the clip. So, all right. All right. Well, I think that's everything we had in the world
of
gaming. So, and we're skipping tech today because Ken is on the road, and we're not going to disrespect Ken by pretending to know how things work. That's Ken's job. He creates airplanes. Yeah. So we're just gonna go right into our Christianity section, guys. This is my favorite part of our entire show, and why we do what we do is because we love getting sweaty and nerdy about all of these things that we love talking about. But really, if it doesn't point back to something greater, then they will always let us down. They will always fall short when we try to make these things our God. So we love doing in our Christianity section our spotlight section whenever we have a guest on. And basically, No Good Gamer is here. Some of you guys might know him from stream. If you don't know him, you've gotten to hear his opinions on all of these awesome things up till now. And you're like, this guy's pretty good. I like his opinions and thoughts. But he's been on YouTube for a while. He's also, you were on Mixer for a while, weren't you? Were you on Mixer ever?
I was originally on Mixer.
Yeah, originally from Mixer. Now came over to Twitch. He's a Mixer refugee, and making some waves here on the platform. I mean, like, he pretty much overshadowed the Ninja News by a long shot. He just came earlier. So today, guys, we're going to hear from him two things. We're going to hear how he came to a personal saving faith in Jesus Christ, and also how he even got started doing what he does. Like, his videos on YouTube, he has some YouTube videos that have thousands of views, right? Like, and I'm not exaggerating. You guys could go look him up, No Good Gamer. Mainly in Nintendo games and in like Animal Crossing stuff, right? I believe.
Yeah, mostly focused on Nintendo.
Yeah. So take it away wherever you want. No Good Gamer, the platform is yours.
Yeah, not a problem. So hello. So let's talk a little bit about my journey in Christ, because it was a long journey, incredibly long. Lots of highs and lows, and ultimately a story for the ages, not about myself but about Jesus. And I want to take a second to kind of reflect and let you guys know that, like, when I was a kid growing up, I grew up in a church family. You know, we would go to church every Sunday. My mom was a member of the church, and we were very, very active. And like, even when our church had burned down, it was this little tiny thing. Our family helped build the new one that's still standing today, way south of British Columbia. But anyways, I grew up believing that Jesus was my best friend. So I would have lots of conversations with him every day, letting him know what was going on in my life, asking and praying for help and guidance. And I kind of fell into the trap of the what's the point? And, you know, I think a lot of people, they feel that way sometimes, especially where prayers go unanswered. Because as I got older, you know, my family members, they started getting really sick and passing away. My aunt, I was very, very close to, when she was, I think about 28, she had passed away from cancer. I prayed a lot, just for healing, and I prayed that she would be okay, and that things would come out with it, that we would have a different outcome. Yeah. And years later, my grandfather had passed away from cancer, and I remember I was a young teen, and I didn't really have somebody in my life. Like, I didn't have a Christian male figure in my life to kind of help me get through a lot of the challenges that were taking place. So I didn't really feel like I could talk to people about it. And I fell into this trap where I said, you know what, what's the point in praying? And what's the point in, and even he's going to do whatever he wants to do anyways. So what does it matter? Yeah. But because I was a kid, I looked at it through the guise of, he doesn't care about me. He's not answering my prayer.
Yeah.
Why would you take my family away from me? Why would you let this happen to our family? Yeah. And then shortly, you know, as those feelings are developing, my parents split up. So yeah, the world is kind of crumbling and falling apart, and I basically said to myself, look, I don't like the way you're doing things. I'm going to do it on my own. And boy, oh boy, was that ever the biggest mistake of my life. Because that I don't regret anything that happened in those years, but for a long time, I kind of promised myself, you know, I'm gonna set my eyes on something, and I'm gonna do what's best for me. And I think in this world that we live in right now, that's the understanding for a lot of people. Yeah. I'm gonna live my best life. I'm gonna do this for me. I'm number one. You know, this is my truth. And I was living like that for a really long time as a teenager, and it led me down a really dark path. You know, I was making really bad decisions in my life. My parents separated. I had relationships that were failing around me, between myself and my family, myself and partners. It was dark. It was pretty grim. And I think the lowest I had ever reached was I was about 17, and my girlfriend at the time had told me that she was pregnant, and so here I am trying to figure out, I'm trying to grasp life.
Yeah.
And now I'm about to be a dad, but unfortunately she had an abortion behind my back. And so I dealt with a lot of difficult struggles. And a few years after that, I had met my ex-wife, and we had gotten married after being together for 3 years. We had a bunch of kids together. It was a very happy home.
Yeah.
I would say we hardly ever fought, and we wanted to raise. We didn't raise the girls in a Christian environment, but there was like these little pieces of my childhood, like praying before sleep, praying at dinner.
Right.
The kids would go to Bible camp each year. Well, we didn't attend any church, and I didn't make it an active part of my life. I would not call myself at the time a follower of Christ.
Yeah.
And it was difficult, and it wasn't until about I was 28. So this is transpiring over the period of like 15 years.
Wow.
About 28 years old, so that would have been about 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I was 29.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I was working out of town in a city where my original, like the church I had grown up with, we had built. And so I thought, a friend of mine was encouraging me. They said, why don't you go to the church? And I was having some difficulty with it because the last time I had been at that church, it was for my aunt's service.
Mm.
And so I reluctantly at the time had went to the church, sat through a whole service. I hadn't attended church since I had been a kid.
Yeah.
And I was just absorbed with the knowledge and the sermon. I really enjoyed what I heard. I remember the moment I walked in the door, I was welcomed with a hug, and I just felt immediately like everything didn't matter. All that mattered was me and Jesus in that moment.
Yeah.
Because we were reuniting. It was like old friends hanging out again. And I was just addicted. I wanted to go to church every day of the week. So I always looked forward to Sunday while I was out of town there. And I would say it was about a year later that I decided I reached out to my pastor in my hometown, and I said, hey, you know what? I want to get baptized. I was baptized when I was a kid. But I think there's something to be said when you're much older and you're able to make that decision.
Yeah.
And so, October of last year, I was baptized here in town, and it was incredible. It's like I said, it's been a really long journey. It's
Mm-hmm.
Jesus has changed my life because, and I don't think people recognize that until you see that you're living a different life.
Right. Yeah.
Because you have to leave everything else that you know behind.
Yeah.
And I remember for so long, when I came back to faith, I actually felt like I had just arrived. Like for years, I was suppressing who I actually was for other people, or because I just didn't want to deal with the trauma that I had endured my whole life.
Yeah.
But I looked at all the things I did my way, and none of it went the way I wanted it to. I was never really happy. And I felt so unfulfilled in that. And so when I turned to Jesus, it was mostly like I can't believe that you had been here for my whole life and I just ignored you. That I didn't even bother to reach out to you, that I put you on this back burner. I can't believe I did this to you. I'm so sorry. And I spent months just praying for forgiveness for being disobedient, for being ignorant, to just not being a good son, like just being a bad child.
Yeah.
And when I first started my faith journey for the second time, I had really just been like, am I worthy of redemption? Am I even worthy of grace? Like, is this something that I'm actually able to have here? Can I reach out and grab this? And it wasn't until I realized that I could, if I was willing to leave everything else behind.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, I think, was going, okay, well then you have to stop doing X, Y, Z. And but I did. And now I'm happy to say that my kids have a relationship with Christ. Oh,
Yeah, Matt turned his camera off and it moved. It moved
It's
us
okay.
all over.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. Like, oh, no.
Yeah.
My
There you go.
But yeah, so my children have a relationship with Christ, and that makes me very, very happy because I feel like like I said, I didn't have somebody to kind of point me in the right direction as I was growing up. So
Yeah.
now that I'm able to kind of help my children, point them to Christ, and make sure that He's put first before me or anything else material in this world. So
Yeah.
it's been an incredible journey. It's brought me to meet a lot of really cool people, both in real life, in my town, and then also on through streaming.
Yeah.
I've met so many amazing content creators and just people in general, listening to their testimonies and how God's working in their life. And when I heard of God Mode Activated, I was really excited because I was having difficulty finding time where I live to dedicate myself to any kind of like a men's group at our church. And so I was like, you know what? This is perfect. This is something that I'm able to, I can reach out when I can. I can help. I can be a brother to these people, and I'm excited about it. So
Yeah.
when I had the opportunity to be able to join GMA, I was excited. I was elated. I was jumping at it because I would say in our programming on the channel, it's not 24/7 Jesus.
Yeah.
But when I was on Mixer, we ended every single stream with a reminder that I'm a nobody and that Jesus is what matters. So thank you for, just trying to realign the focus. You spent 4 hours with me, and I love that. But I'm nobody. Don't forget who Jesus is, and just trying to point it back to Him.
Yeah.
And so it's been really cool. And with content creation, I think the reason I got into it was purely out of boredom.
Yeah.
I was sitting at home not working for a really long time. Well, not for a really long time, for a couple months, and I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. I wasn't really familiar with streaming. And I didn't have a favorite streamer when I started streaming.
Right.
I'd watched maybe 2 people on Mixer, and I thought, hey, this looks actually really cool. This might be a way for me to socialize and interact with people. I didn't realize just how large or how big of an industry this was, what I was really getting myself into.
Yeah.
And it's been an incredible, like I said, it's been an incredible journey. I started on Mixer. I met a lot of really awesome people on there. I had some really cool relationships with people outside of Mixer that I didn't anticipate, like with Pastor Dustin, Drulk TV.
Yeah.
Lots of cool content creators who inspired me to just be a little bit more open about my faith in my own content, because you never know who's coming into your streams and maybe needs to hear something very specific. So I've always had it where in our channel, we make sure that we can have open discussions about anything. If you want to ask me about faith, or you want to ask me about any specific thing that's happened in my life, or you want to talk about what's going on in yours, we keep that door open for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing how many different testimonies we've heard, and how many, how big this community has grown. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Jesus is incredible, and I'm so thankful.
Yeah, and it's so cool to hear as you're sharing all this. I think of Joel 2:25, where Jesus promises, or God promises, it's not Jesus yet, but God promises, I will restore to you the years that the swarming locusts have eaten away at, and then to hear what you kind of grew up in, and like you said, your world falling apart in some ways, and yet see God just begin to restore, your faith and your family, and even just some of your calling and your purpose and your mission, which is just so cool to see.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that I would hope people take away is that never underestimate God. He's going to use the underdogs he can transform anyone.
Yeah.
When you think for a second that someone is beyond saving, he can do amazing things for that person, and because of that, it can change so many other people's lives as well.
Yeah, for sure. So mainly you've been again doing from what I have seen and stuff, I've seen you enjoy, like I said at the top of the show, that you are kind of like a mix of me and Matt when it comes to like what you're interested in. Because I've seen you do a lot of different Nintendo games. You've done obviously Pokemon's part of Nintendo, but Pokemon's like its own whole thing. I've seen you do a couple Pokemon streams before too, right? Like you did Pokemon Go, I think, at one point.
Well,
or not
so
Go,
when,
it was Let's Go. Yeah.
Let's Go. Yeah. So when we first started out, I had noticed on Mixer there was a real need at the time for Nintendo content. It was hard to find anybody playing Nintendo games. And for a long time, I would say Nintendo was kind of my bread and butter over there.
Yeah.
I would play Pokemon. I would play Animal Crossing. We did a lot of other different games, a couple indie games like Cat Quest.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. But as we've evolved and moved over to Twitch, I've kind of recognized that because our community is continuing to grow, there is a need that far surpasses just Animal Crossing or Nintendo content. So sometimes, you know, we'll start a stream and we'll just sit there and have a conversation for, you know, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and just really kind of open up and talk literally about anything.
Yeah.
And those I would say are probably my favorite streams.
Yeah.
Because you guys, everybody else is the focus. I'm just answering questions or comments, and we're it's like we're all sitting in the room together having a coffee and enjoying quality time.
Yeah, exactly.
But as we continue to move on, I would consider myself a bit of a variety streamer. I'm not afraid to do pretty much any game, or even just like ridiculous content. If you want me to make a fool of myself, I'm happy to do so. Take a look at my TikTok.
Yeah.
But no, it's been an incredible time, and like I said, the community has really just shaped the content.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well,
yeah,
I would love for everybody to know. We'll put a shout out for you in here as well. When's the next time you're going to be streaming? Let the good people know where you're going to be live next and what you're going to be doing.
Well, I'll be live later today on twitch.tv/NoGoodGamer live, and you can catch me at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I also would encourage you guys to check out the TikTok. Our TikTok is blowing up. It's been incredible. Our community is actually growing because of TikTok. So it's been a lot of fun. We just had a big milestone. We hit 3,000 followers over on TikTok.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we're growing every single day. And it's really cool to just kind of interact with different content creators in a different space. And honestly, it's really cool to see some of the people that are familiar from our community over there on the talk as well. Kingdom Misfit, Deadly Dill, and just watching them as well. So, yeah, if you want to check those out, I would encourage that.
There you go. Thank you, Matt. I was trying to put your link in there the whole time, and then it wasn't working. Yeah. Usually, I could just @ the person, and then it'll do it, but it was being weird. I kept shouting myself out. I was like, "No!"
Well, yeah, because you were doing the wrong. You were just doing No Good Gamers, No Good Gamer Live.
Yeah, normally it wasn't coming up for me. Yeah.
Yeah, when we moved over to Twitch, No Good Gamer was taken, so we had to adapt the live.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much again for being on today. It's been awesome to kind of hear some of your testimony and just to kind of see, you know, again, there's like you said, the community is always so growing and fluid of like who's in, who's out, you know, and around, that sometimes you miss some of these like relationships and friendships that you want to develop even more. And so I love getting to have people on here and just talk and get sweaty with them on things that we all enjoy. So.
Oh, it's been a spicy time, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
No, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We'll definitely have you on again if you're available and willing. We'll have Ken set up another time that we can get you in here. But
absolutely.
Mr. Potato, what about you? Where can the good people find you guys? Again, he's the one who wrote all these notes today. So if you enjoyed today's show, he would greatly appreciate it. Go drop him a follow. Go check him out. What are you going to be doing next that the good people can find you on?
Well, lately I've just been playing a whole bunch of Sea of Thieves. I probably won't be doing much Call of Duty until we get the betas for Call of Duty Cold War. But actually I'm kind of on like a little bit of a backburn on Twitch for a little bit. Just needing to take some time with the family and, you know, really focus up on them and be there for the wifey. But I might be back at some point, but right now I'm going to be focusing on actually editing my videos and putting them on YouTube. So
Very
I'm
nice.
throwing in my YouTube channel,
There you
and
go.
I'm trying to grow it and get some more videos thrown out. So that's kind of like been my goal with content creation right now. But yeah, Twitch has been on a little bit more of a back burner, but we're still creating, and we're still having a good time.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you guys heard it there. Make sure to go sub to Mr. Potato on there as well. You guys know where to find me right here, Super Shadow. We'll be live again tomorrow, and I'm actually going to cut stream a little bit short today. I'll hang out for a little bit and hang out with you guys and talk and see how you guys are doing today. So we're going to talk for a little bit, and then I actually have to go and edit. I try to have a video out every single day in the month of September, and so we have a ton of videos coming out. If you guys enjoy this show, you can catch the full show. It'll be live come Sunday morning. And then the segments will be broken up throughout the week for you guys to go and check out. So if you just care about the trailers that we talked about, if you just care about our Iron Man review, or if you just want to see No Good Gamer's testimony and hear his spotlight section, that'll all be up on the channel for you later on. And then on top of it, we have other content like our Pastors After Dark content that's up every single day as well. I always try to do an abridged version for people who just want the 15-minute answer. So we just had that video up. And then I have 7 new videos that I'm editing right now that on basically what 5 Christian books should every Christian read, why do I not grow in my Bible studies, and then another one on that I'm really excited about on 5 lies Christians need to stop believing in 2020. So all those are going to be coming up this next week. So if you guys aren't subbed, go and sub to the channel on there. We just hit 400 subscribers, and so we're almost to 500
Nice.
now. So it's
Beautiful.
moving. It's moving. So thank you guys so much for those of you who already have. So yeah, guys, we're going to let these guys go. But before we do, let's end this in prayer. No Good, would you mind praying for us and closing us out here before I let you guys go?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Father, we ask that you bless the stream, you bless the people that are watching this stream, and that you lead us in our life with positive messages focused on you, that bring us back to you, Lord. God, we spent a great deal of time talking about movies and video games and all sorts of different kinds of content, but ultimately we want the message that really lands with somebody is that you are constantly working in our lives, and that you are good, that you are all that's needed. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you guys again. We're going to throw on the music, say goodbye to these guys in chat. And yeah, thank you guys again, and we'll see you guys really soon.
Bye.
Adios.